Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, for yet another day of fighting fantasy frolics and fun. And possibly it might even be, as you're watching this, a fighting fantasy Friday, because I am now doing new episodes or publishing new episodes on Tuesdays and Fridays, twice a week. There's going to be new episodes of Fighting Fantasy until further notice, unless something gets in the way and I don't get to make two episodes a week. Hopefully, there will be some weeks ahead that I will be able to make three episodes a week. And that way, I will be ahead of schedule and I can actually plan them out so that when a time comes that I get very busy for a week or two, because, well, my wife's going to have some holidays coming up as well, that we may want to do something together and there'll be less time for me to make videos. That's just how life works when you're not single. So, therefore, I will want to try to make three episodes a week now, and so I will be able to publish them twice a week and without any weeks being without new episodes coming out. That is the plan. I hope to be able to stick to it. Right, so last time we ended on not quite a cliffhanger, but we ended with me dying because I took a rope and I hauled myself down onto a ledge in a canyon trying to escape a bushfire. Now, the bushfire, unsurprisingly, although actually surprisingly in a way as well, I managed to burn my rope so I can't get back up again. And so I died. So I have found out that obviously there is no way to get to any further in this game without tackling the forest. Sorry, I keep saying forest fire. Tackling the bushfire and getting through it. You can't go over it. You can't go under it. You have to go through it, as it says in We're Going on a Bear Hunt, the poem by Michael Rosen, which of course everyone in Britain would know. It is, yes, we're going on a bear hunt. It is, everyone in Britain would know this one. But if you're not from Britain, you may not know this. So the story is, it's a children's book, as you can see it, thick pages. And the poem is sort of a cyclical thing, same pattern repeated. So first you got, we're going on a bear hunt. We're going to catch a big one. What a beautiful day. We are not scared. And that's going to be repeated several times throughout the book. But then, so it's this, all the kids are going on a bear hunt. And then they will reach obstacles in their path or to finding the bear. So it says, uh-oh, grass, long wavy grass. We can't go over it. We can't go under it. Oh no, we've got to go through it. And that sort of also is a sort of a thing that goes all the way through the poem. They meet different obstacles. They can't go over it. They can't go under it. They have to go through it. So in Masks of Mayhem, Fighting Fantasy book number 23, you get to a bushfire. You can't go over it. You can't go under it. You have to get through it to get to the bear. Or in this case, you have to get to the end of the book where you save the world from evil sorcery. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of where I get to the bushfire and make some new choices and see if I can get through it. Not over it, not under it, but through it. Okay, let's get started. Okay, here we are on my desk. Got my character sheet from last time. I'm just going to continue now. I got my map from last time. This is the bushfire area. And got my dice, pen, pencil, etc. Ready to go. Let's just get started. So we're starting where the bushfire is, where you encounter it, which, excuse me, is so in paragraph 13 is where we start. Except I have already eaten the rations or lost the rations. So, right. So, a bushfire starts in the south and is racing in your direction, driven by the wind. The front of the fire is many kilometers long. At any rate, even from a distance, you cannot see the ends of it. The dry heather and shrubs are excellent kindling for it, and it leaps to streams and small rivers with no apparent pause. This is a little bit weird because it is so dry, and yet this is supposed to be a sort of a bogland kind of place, and it doesn't really get that dry usually when you have all these streams and rivers keeping everything moistened. So, yeah. And it leaps the streams and small rivers with no apparent pause. It is still a long way away, but you know the speed at which such fires travel. Will you stay where you are, race north, try to find the fire's western limit, try to find the fire's eastern limit, or move towards the fire? So, got an itchy nose now. Okay, there we are. So what I tried before was I tried moving towards the fire. Gave me a few options. I can't remember what this one is. I've really written this map in a terrible, illegible writing as usual. Now, there was a canyon, and there still are a few options there for trying to get around the place. I'm wondering if I should go north again. I was going east, going west. I still haven't tried to go west. I still haven't tried going west at the canyon either. I'm just wondering if west is the place to go. So I'm going to try by going west, 332. Maybe I should tell the story so far before I get started, actually. Right, so the story so far, I forgot to say that in the beginning. So in case you haven't watched the previous episode, of course you can watch that. If you don't want to, the story is as follows. You are the noble and benevolent leader of a country or a town or a small domain anyway called Arion. And your leadership is together with a sorcerer whom you find sorcery a little bit suspicious. But there's a sorcerer called Ivar who is your trusty sidekick. Your sidekick anyway. I'm really not trusting him so much. One day he tells you that Morgana, an evil sorceress living up in the northern mountains outside of your realm, is up to no good. She has taken the 11 of the seals of existence or of life and turned them into masks for golems. And the idea is when she has 12 of these, all 12 of the seals of magic that control everything that exists, and these seals, of course, the knowledge of them and understanding of them is something that is meant to be kept only for good wizards, not for evil. So there's a sort of a court of sorcerers, and they are trying to keep this knowledge away from evil wizards like Morgana. Although I do suspect that Ivar might have something to do with it. So he tells me this because he has seen it in a vision when he's been traveling the astral plane. So he has traveled, of course, in a non-corporeal form to the mountains, seen what she's up to. Now he tells me that I have to go and deal with it. I suspect he is in cahoots with Morgana, or that he is actually the one pulling the strings. But I'll get back to that. So, and the reason that I am the one that must go is that by being a really good person, I have some protection from the evil magic, and also apparently good magic doesn't work as well on me as either. So yeah, so I have to go. I go to my armorer who has polished my sword and my helmet. The helmet is a very special one. It is one that is the one that always is owned by the rulers of the land, and it's a symbol of that leadership. And also there is a very typical story that if it ever goes missing, the land will turn to chaos. So you have to take good care of it. So, okay, so far so good. So this is, by the way, the armorer. His name is Kevin Truehand, and this is someone you actually trust rather well. So, and he tells you to go to Fallowdale in the north, past the forest, past the lake, past the hills, and get some help from the leader there, whose name is Heather. And so you do. So you travel north. You go through either the forest or the hills. This time I went through the hills, and you find your way there. I managed to fall into an old mine and had to find my way through the mine and then out to get to Fallowdale. Once in Fallowdale, there is an incident where there are some pygmy orcs that are there trying to steal your helmet. or they're stealing your helmet because they want to kill you. So if you don't play that right, you will get killed. If you play it right, you will be fine. And also in Fallowdale, the leader Heva, he has a horn that is magical that will help you in your quest. But the only way to make him give you the horn to help you is to either swap for another magical item, which needs to be a magic mirror, and I didn't find that. I haven't found it yet. I don't know where it is. Or you go and kill a saber-toothed cat for him. It says tiger in the book. There is no such thing. Saber-toothed cat. You have to go and hunt the saber-toothed cat. Last time when I played it, I didn't make it. The time before that again, I did actually make that. So at the moment, I do not have the horn. On my first playthrough, there was also, I found a scepter. And it seems there are a few hints that come strangely after the point where you can find the scepter that tells you that you have to find the scepter and the orb. And these items of ancient leadership and benevolent leadership, I presume, are something that can protect you against evil, sorcery, and be part of the solution of the game. I don't know for sure yet, but there's been two indications that that now is the case. So it is quite possible that you cannot win this game without having the scepter and the orb, but I don't know for sure yet. So you get to Heva, you try to get the horn, you may not get it, and then you leave Fallowdale and you travel through a grassy plain area, and then you get into sort of more moorland. But the moorland apparently is quite dry, even though there are streams and brooks everywhere. It is dry, which means it's not technically moorland, really, when you think about it. Not properly, if it can burn. And this is where the wildfire starts. Before you get to the wildfire, the bushfire, you have the opportunity of finding a little sort of ruined cluster of houses. I didn't find it this time. But there is a clue to be found there. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it probably had something to do with the scepter and the sword again. I'm not sure now. But the thing is, I'm still exploring. I'm still trying to find the path and find out what is the correct path. I'm not going to be too bothered about missing things now that I think may be essential. But after that bit, you get to the point where you see the bushfire and you have to try to escape from it. That's where we are. And let's get back into action. So, right. So let's get back to it. So I was thinking west might be the way to go. So I'm at the start of the bushfire and I want to try to go west first of all. So 332. After a while, you think you can see the end of the fire, but it is too far away for you to reach before the fire reaches you. You must think again. There is no point in running in the opposite direction to try to find the other limit of the fire, so will you run north or south towards the fire? So okay. So I have tried running east. I've tried running west here. I have tried running towards the fire. Then you get a luck test. And if you're lucky, you will still get a chance to run north again or south towards the fire again, I suppose. I'm just wondering. That just seems like such a silly thing to do. That can't work, surely. So I'm quite sure that just means you die. So, and stay doesn't sound like a good idea. So it seems going north is away from the fire. And of course, logically, that is the only thing that makes sense. Only a few kilometers north, you find an impassable canyon. There is no bridge here across its span of several hundred meters, and the sides are too steep to climb. Animals fleeing the fire are jumping over or being pushed by other beasts to their deaths in the shallow river at the bottom of the gorge about half a kilometer below. If you have rope, which I do, it will not reach the bottom, of course, but you could tie one end of the rope to a boulder and let yourself down until the fire burns itself out. Or, alternatively, you could run along the edge of the cliff to the west or east, hoping to find some way down or across. or you could race away from the cliff and towards the fire, which sounds like a terrible idea. So I've tried going east here, and that was the end. I've not tried going west, and I've not tried running back. I'm going to have to try to run west now, so that is the only logical way left for it to be. So 278, and it says turn to 134, which means that is the end again. So okay, 278. Let's go to 134 just to show you that. In the hour or so which it takes for the fire to reach you, you have found no way out of your predicament. So that doesn't work. Let's try to run towards the fire. 359. Half a kilometer away from the cliff, you pause for thought. Roll 2 dice. If the total is greater than your skill, what's thinking got to do with skill? Well, that is a weird one. Okay, skill test. So we have results. Well, I can't fail a skill test. My skill is technically 13 now, according to the book, although it is 12 and 13 in battle, according to my corrected rules. 134 or 365, so that is a fail or success. So I succeeded that test and go to 365. You realize that you need to create a fire break between yourself and the bushfire, but you have left yourself a little time. The only means you have of making such a fire break is to start your own fire, which will burn up the shrubs and leave the bushfire nothing to catch on. Would you start a fire to the south of where you stand between yourself and the bushfire, or north of where you stand between yourself and the cliff? Now, if you want to burn something towards... Well, the thing... Well, I suppose... Yeah. Does it really matter? The wind is moving in... Well, actually, you want to do it in... You want to do it north because the bushfire is heading northwards, which means that's where the wind direction is, and that's where the fire will spread. So if you do it north of you, it will burn out the area towards the canyon, and then you can move in that direction while the bushfire is coming behind you. So logically, it should be north. Right, so... So 265 north or 102 south. So I'm going to go north in that case, 265. This is the only possible solution. Your fire will make a desolate area stretching back towards the cliff. And you can enter this area to wait for the bushfire to burn itself out. But by not doing this immediately, you have left yourself very little time. Roll 1 die. So 1d6, 6. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. Let's find out. So we have 2 options there. 17 is 1 to 4, and 2, 5, 3 is 5 to 6. So, and I rolled a 6, so that's 2, 5, 3. Your fire creates a desolate area which cools off enough for you to enter it and remain safe from the bushfire at the cost of only 2 stamina points of burns. Turn to 10. Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. So minus 2 stamina, go to 10. So minus 2 stamina down to 18. And I go to paragraph 10. Add 1 luck point for surviving the bushfire. Okay, plus 1 luck. Now this is actually something I quite like in this book. There's been 2 cases now of sections of the book where certain death was actually quite likely. This is one, and the other was when you found yourself in the old mine. And in both cases, when you managed to get out, you got a luck reward. And this is how I feel a luck reward should be done in these books. It's almost as if, I mean, there were too many luck points being awarded in the Warlock of Fight Up Mountain, but since then it's almost like they've forgotten. There's a lot of options to use luck, especially in Livingstone books, but very few options to gain luck or regain luck, which means that you end up not being able to use it in battle because you just have to save it for when it's life or death thing. It's and it sort of makes it almost obsolete in a way, and a little bit pointless. So this is how luck should be treated. You get options to use it, and you also get options to regain it that are relatively fair, because so many things you do in these books, when you think about it, when you find a magic item, for instance, you should really get a luck point. Yeah, things like that. So it's a tricky balance to get right, though, because you don't want to give out too many points, but there still should be enough points to regain lost points unless you're on a completely wrong track, and also there should be enough points to use some in battle as well. Doesn't have to be that many. It has to be some luck points in battle. Yes. You now face a lengthy journey along the edge of the canyon until you can find some way across or down it. At least there will be plenty of roast meat from animals which died in the fire to keep you going on the way. And the streams, though oily and blackened from the fire, still provide water, which is refreshing enough. Will you head east or west along the cliff? So now I'm actually past this bit. So 47... 1347, 359. There we are. So that works. So east or west? I think I'm going to do a new page now on my map, just to keep things neat and tidy. And this is actually the last page of this pad. I've got another one off on the side here. And we're starting on, I can start on 10, I suppose. So we've got paragraph 10, because now there's only one way, and that is forward. Definitely. And now we are going to head east or west. So we can put out those options there. 70 west or 98 east. So let's try west. For several days you trudge west. The canyon varies in width and depth, but it is never feasible to attempt a crossing. The sides remain absolutely sheer. The plentiful carrion has attracted... That's really weird, though, that the canyon should be sheer the whole way. The plentiful carrion has attracted many birds. Apart from crows and normal birds of prey, you occasionally sight larger winged creatures some way off. Eventually, one of them decides to see if this thing which moves in the burned wilderness is also edible. Why would it? Because no bird, no animal, no predator would ever go for living prey if there was already dead options, because they are sensible, they don't want to get injured. So, right, you are attacked by a giant bloodhawk. This huge creature swoops out of the sky with its 4-meter wingspan, which sounds like a lot, but really it isn't, actually. It doesn't make it a big bird, not a huge bird at all. Talons outstretched to grip you and allow the cruel beak to do its work. If you have the cloak of temporary invisibility and wish to use it, turn to 103, otherwise turn to 327. So I didn't get the cloak because I didn't have any money, but that's one of the items for sale by the alchemist, the wandering alchemist that you can meet. 13327. Cloak, not 327. There is no escaping the bloodhawk's piercing gaze. Well, I can't escape its gaze, but does that mean that I can escape everything else? Is it its looks that kill? The bloodhawk is not evil, so the Horn of Heather will have no effect on it. If you win, turn to 201. So, yeah, the Horn of Heather gives you a combat bonus. Would have been nice to have, but I'll be doing all right. So 7, 12. It's not evil, but it's stupid. 13, 18 is what I've got, and this guy has 7, 12. So I've got a 6 skill point advantage. He rolls 3. I'm not going to roll for myself now unless needed. 4, 8, which means there could be a draw. Nope. 8, no, 3, and 9, and 5. So he is dead. If you win, turn to 201. 201. This paper feels a bit different to my other one. This is a different. It's a different pad. It is a little bit less smooth, a little bit grittier, which I sometimes quite like. It's a little bit thinner as well. It seems okay. Seems okay. Does the job. These are the pads that I bought really cheaply. I bought a pack of 10. You can actually see the rest of the pack there. I can't remember how much it cost, but it was really cheap anyway. So I'm not expecting top quality. It'll work. It'll do the job. Right, so 201. Early the next day, you notice that the cliffs are getting lower. You contemplate jumping into the river from this height, but then you notice that the river is flowing extremely fast, and soon you hear the boom of a large waterfall ahead. Before long, you come to the lip of the falls. The river is flowing between ordinary banks now, and the fine spray from the falls seems to hover in the air, scintillating with rainbow colors. There is no way across the river at this point. 293. There is a steep path down the cliff from the top of the waterfall to the large pool which has formed in the canyon below. The cliffs here are craggier and less sheer, and you hope that, if you can cross the pool, you may be able to climb the northern cliff. As you swim across the deep pool, you see that the northern cliff is climbable, but you also see a rather large alligator waddle from the northern shore into the water, where its snout cuts a furrow in the water towards you. If you have the cloak of temporary invisibility, you cannot use it here. It would be too awkward and time-consuming to get it out of your pack. Will you tread water to meet the alligator's onslaught in as stable a position as possible, or will you dive underwater in an attempt to get at the creature's underbelly? Well, an alligator can dive too, even though they like swimming at the surface. They can easily dive as well. They can stay underwater for ages. You do not want to fight the alligator in its own habitat, really. Right, so 43, 380, stable or under. I'm going to try to stable position. I'm going to try to sort of stabilize here and see if I can fight it. You meet the alligator head-on. It is not evil, so the Horn of Heva will have no effect on it. And you must reduce your skill by 1 point for this fight, because the water hampers your movements. Now, this is another thing. It should not say reduce your skill by 1, because that is actually misleading. It should say reduce your attack strength by 1. Just one of my many little pet peeves when it comes to expressing rules in these books. It needs to be consistent. So, and without any possibility of misunderstanding. 393. Okay, so I'm attacking the alligator, or the alligator is attacking me. He has 710, which means I have, of course, now I'm effectively 1 less skill, so I am got 5 skill point advantage. Let's see how this goes. So he rolls a 4. I can't lose that round. Rolls 12, 10, 4, again, 11, 9, and finally rolls a 7. I roll a 6, and he is dead. And I go to 393. You reach the northern shore and dry off. The climb up the cliff is fairly easy. Once at the top, you pause to estimate your position. You think that you have come so far west that the dreaded marsh Vile now lies to the north, and the foothills to the mountain range of Krill to the northeast. You know you should avoid the marsh Vile if you possibly can, but will you head north for a while or northeast? Right. 3, 5, 7, or 3, 7, 4. I'm going to head north for a while, although I will save my game, just to see. There might be something fascinating there. Although I have been warned now, haven't I? As you continue north, you soon begin to see some way ahead the pall of vapor which continually covers Marsh Vile. Among the many streams and rivulets which crisscross this part of the plain, you come across one which has been reduced to a mere trickle. The exposed mud is still damp. Will you follow it upstream to find out what is blocking it, or continue north? Okay, so that sounds interesting. I'm going to find out what is blocking it. 25 or 1, 2, 5, north block. So I'm going to check that out. 25. Not far upstream, you come across the prostrate body of a hill tribe warrior. It is this that is blocking the stream. Several arrows are protruding from her, but she is just alive. If you bought a healing potion from the alchemist and have not used it on yourself, you can use it on her if you want. So, 3, 3, 8, healing, or 300. Nope. Question mark. Okay. So I don't have a healing potion, and I just have to do something else. The warrior dies. See, quick and easy. Will you continue north or turn northeast? So. I think it's time to turn northeast. 374. You travel by easy stages to the foothills of the northern mountain range. There is quite a bit of game, so you use up only one lot of provisions, down to 6. One night you camp by a copse. In the morning, will you walk through the copse? Is it copse or copse? See, it's one of those other words that I'm sometimes a bit unsure of. Copse, I think it's a copse. I always thought it was a copse anyway, but it just occurred to me it may not be a copse. It may be a copse. It's a copse. A copse of trees. So it's a copse. Or coppice is the same actually. So yeah, a coppice. Where was I? 300 and 374 and will you walk through the copse, turn to 113, or around it? I think I always thought it was copse because I didn't think it would be pronounced the same as copse. Yeah. 113, 126. Through, around. Do I want to walk through the copse? I think I want to go around it. 126. 126. You leave the copse behind you and continue up towards the mountains, which now loom large and forbidding in the near distance. The hills grow more steep and bleak, so it is strange to see, crowning one hill, 2 large and flourishing oak trees, like a portal to the sunset beyond. That sounds like the first time when I went through the forest, I was in the vision that the elves told me about. those trees, that is where I'm supposed to be with the scepter and orb, I think, because that's the vision they had. I'm going to check it out. At least it will tell me a little bit about what I'm missing at this point. So I'm going to check out the hill and the trees. So I'm going to go there and not there. Okay, so 37, continue, or 387 oaks. If you can guess what you are supposed to do here, add together the numbers of the items involved and turn to the paragraph with that number. Otherwise, the trees shimmer mysteriously, but nothing happens to make you stay here. So this is where there's a secret paragraph. And that is because I presume the scepter and the orb both have a number that you add together that will give you that secret option there. You carry on with your journey. Turn to 37. I know where to find the scepter, but not the orb. You camp on the northern side of the hill. During the night, the first snow falls. If you have a wildcat's pelt or an antifreeze potion, turn to 334. Otherwise, turn to 227. So, interestingly, of course, I left a bear pelt because it was too heavy. Otherwise, this would have been a good time to actually have one. So if I have 344 antifreeze or wildcat pelt, otherwise 227. Okay, so 227. I presume I will get some damage now for freezing. From now on, as you progress towards and into the mountains, that's a really beautiful picture, by the way. And this is, I'm not going to look at the paragraph number now, but I'm quite sure this is what happens if you camp by the lake in the beginning. You get the tentacled monsters coming from the lake to get you, which is what I've always been saying. Right, because you have little protection against the cold, your provisions will restore only 3 stamina points instead of the usual 4. So not a big deal, really. Let's make a note of that here. So that's 3 instead of 4. So special rules. Prov equals 3, not 4. Turn to 128. 128. You can see the 5 peaks of Krill Garnash in the distance ahead, even though you are not yet in the mountain range itself, but on the borders. One morning you see some extraordinarily large sliding footprints in the snow. Images of Yeti or big feet enter your mind, but you soon know better. You're confronted by 2 hill tribesmen wearing snowshoes. They are dressed in skins and look rather formidable, especially with their short but sturdy thrusting spears. If you have the cloak of temporary invisibility and wish to use it, turn to 390. That can be used so many places, can't it? But you can only use it once, though, can't you? I think it was only once, so... or will you approach the tribesmen peacefully or attack? So I am a goody two-shoes. I'm not going to attack anyone unprovoked. That would actually not be in keeping with my character at all. 282 attack, 383 peace, and 390 inv for invisibility. So I'm going to approach them peacefully. 383. This may be a mistake. The tribe to which these men belong has long been under the rule of Morgana. They pay her tribute because they fear her, but they would rather be free. When you approach them with your sword still in its sheath, they seize you roughly and tie you against a tree. They search through your pack. If they can find a set of saber-toothed tiger's claws, turn to 155, otherwise turn to 194. Why don't I just let them grab me then? Because I could have stopped. I mean, normal people can just stop someone from doing that. 155 claws, question mark, or 194. No. So you only get the claws, of course, if you kill the saber-toothed cat. I didn't do that, so 155. No, hang on, 194. They talk between themselves for a while, arguing whether or not to take you as their prisoner to Morgana to gain her favor. They decide to do so. You are released from the tree, your hands are tied behind your back, and you are taken at spear point north towards Krill Garnash. Turn to 173. You travel deep into the mountains. The slopes are quite thickly covered with pine trees. Occasionally, as the days pass, you hear low, ominous rumblings from the mountains on either side. One afternoon, you see a figure ahead of you, black against the white glare of the snow. If you are alone, turn to 287. If you have one companion, turn to 210. If you have two companions, turn to 176. Ah, so you are supposed to be able to have companions. So that means if you had the healing potion, you would have a companion. But of course, the way it is written in the previous paragraphs, when you got captured, it didn't really. Well, I suppose it could also work if you were more than one person. I am alone, so it's possible to have at this point two companions, which probably will make life a lot easier as well. Okay, so I'm actually liking this book better the more I play it now, because despite its shortcomings, it does have a very good gaming structure. It seems like with some nice little gaming things. So companions, yeah, I quite like the idea of having that as an option. 287, 210, 176. So one companion, two companions, and none. Your voice will carry. Why? Hang on, there's just some weird stuff going on here again, because I'm being taken at spear point towards Krill Garnash. And now the writing here, it sounds like I'm not a captive anymore, which just doesn't seem right. Why would I be calling out? And I don't know, it's just weird. Anyway, your voice will carry well in the crisp, clear mountain air. Will you call out to the distant figure or carry on trudging through the snow? As if I had the choice. Right. Call. Trudge. I'm going to call out, see what happens. You cannot tell at this distance whether or not the figure is moving towards you or whether your shouts have been heard. Will you call out again, turn to 360, or give up and carry on? As if I'm the one making that choice again. I'm going to call again in that case, since suddenly it seems like I'm not a captive anymore, for at least for a few moments. Must enjoy my freedom to shout and wait. Your shouts have no effect on the distant figure, but dramatic effects otherwise. The noise starts an avalanche, and you are soon crushed under tons of snow, rocks, and tree trunks. Okay. And also my captors would have been crushed as well. Okay, so I'm just going to go back there. I'm going to keep playing. I haven't played long enough to stop now, so I'm going to go back and not shout. And 341. The figure shortly disappears from sight, and you see no living creature, human or otherwise, for 2 days, including the people who are... There is something wrong with this book here, because it is... Because these... It doesn't make any sense. Am I supposed to say that these people are my companions? They're not my companions. I'm their captive. This does not make any sense. Well, apparently they call the people that hold me captive my companions now. Which is not the right word for it. Not the right word. Okay, so I'm supposed to say that I've got 2 people that I have the tribesmen. There are 2 of them, and they are the companions that they're talking about. So again, book's getting it wrong. Okay, so right, so I have to backtrack a little bit. I've got 2 companions because I've got 2 people who hold me captive. Yeah. The tribesmen, if they have spotted the distant figures, seem unconcerned. Perhaps their sharp eyes can tell what yours cannot, whether the figure is moving towards you or away from you. Your voice will carry well in the crisp, clear mountain air, and you decide to call out to the distant figure. Why? Test your luck. I roll 6, but I'm being lucky. So I am going to put up the options here, like so. I suppose so 3, 7, 8 lucky, and I see that the other one is unlucky, which is the end paragraph. And then go that the end paragraph doesn't really work so well because it should really have said something about the tribesmen too. So if you're unlucky there, then you get the avalanche and you die. 3, 7, 8. And just when I was liking the book better, it messes something up again. Oh well. Your companions turn to quieten you, but it is too late. The noise starts an avalanche. Distant rumbling soon becomes terrifyingly loud, and tons of snow, rocks, and tree trunks are hurtling down the mountainside towards you. Fortunately, you are all close to the opposite slope, and you are able to run out of reach of the avalanche. Though in the panic, you become separated from your captors. You fall onto a snowdrift, which hides you from view. Roll 1 die. Now that sounds very lucky. 2. So that is 1, 4, 6. So it's 1, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, or 2, 2, 3, 3, 4 to 6. So we have 1, 4, 6 is where we go. Your captors soon find you. They have obviously decided that you are more trouble than you're worth because they waste no time in dispatching you with their spears. Your adventure ends here. So that is also the end. So I'm going to have to pretend now, I presume that didn't happen in order to play a bit more and say that I did manage to make it and go to 233. Because once it's just a dice rolling exercise, I don't feel that's that much fun anymore. I probably would like a game book without dice sometimes. I think, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's nice with the dice, but a lot of the time, I think there are other ways, better ways to resolve things than using dice. From your hiding place, you can hear your captors searching for you, but they fail to find you. Meanwhile, you rub the rope which binds your hands against the sharp edge of a rock in the gully in which you have landed. Eventually it breaks. When you judge that the coast is clear, you emerge from the gully. Reduce your stamina by 3 for lying so long in the freezing snow. 15, I'll eat something. 19. Stamina minus 3. Turn to 250. Okay. 250. When you restart your journey towards Krill Ganache, there is no sign of the distant figure who, without knowing it, secured your freedom. Within 2 days, the peaks of Krill Ganache, half hidden in lowering grey cloud, are so close that they seem to hang over you, like some vast primeval monster. There are 2 passes. Would you take the one which heads towards the west of Krill Ganache, or the one which heads towards the east? So, I'm going to change pages again now. And start on 250. And then we have west or east. So we have 284 west or 142 east. I'm going to go west, 284. The western pass is narrow and choked with snow. If you are not wearing snowshoes, you may decide to retrace your steps and try the eastern pass. Okay, so if you kill those, it seems the right option there is to attack the tribesmen and take their snowshoes. That seems to be the right option earlier. So. One, two, three. And that sounds to me like Western Pass might be the right one because it says you can't choose to go back unless you don't have snowshoes. Anyway, snowshoes, question mark. But I have to go to 142 now. As you are walking through the pass, you see a large snowball rolling down the eastern slope and getting larger all the time. The snowball comes to a halt at the foot of the mountain in front of you. Then, to your surprise, the snowball disintegrates and out steps an ice hulk. These moronic creatures are mutant yetis, the mutation consisting mainly in the disappearance of the yeti's already tiny brain. That's a bit silly. This one probably tripped over its own feet and tumbled down the mountainside. It stares at you uncertainly for a few moments and then obviously decides that you are edible. You will have to defend yourself unless you have the cloak of temporary invisibility, in which case you can avoid this encounter if you want to. Still, you can only use it once though, so yeah. 267 is invisibility. Since Ice Hulk is not evil, just stupid, the Horn of Heather has no power over it. 612. Oh, I'm doing this in the wrong place. 612. 267 inv. First time you win an attack round, turn to 392. If you win, turn to 267. 392. First, okay. So he's got a skill of 6. He rolls 10. I roll 2. So actually, he wins the first round. Down to 17. He rolls 8. I roll 12. I win the second round. So 6, 10, and let's go to the first time I win an attack round, 392. See what happens. Since the Ice Hulk has no brain to speak of, it takes quite a time for the creature to register the pain of the wound you have inflicted on it. You withdraw your sword from its side, expecting at least to slow the beast down, and are therefore unprepared for it to continue coming at you, swinging its great paws like claw-tipped mallets. Test your luck. It's a bit silly again. 12. I am unlucky. Test luck. You don't, when you hit someone with your sword at the beginning of a battle, you expect a counterattack. I mean, come on. Seriously. Test luck, and unlucky, 60 unlucky, 182 lucky. So unlucky, I'll go to 60. The creature's paw slams into your arm, lose 1 skill and 2 stamina points. So -1 skill, -2 stamina. Skill is now 12. Stamina is down to 15. Return to 142 to continue the fight. Yep, so he's now got, I've got 12, he's got 6, so I've got a 6 skill point advantage. He rolls 11, I roll 11, it's down to 8, he rolls 5, he's down to 6, he rolls 11, I roll 5, that is a draw. He rolls 10, I roll 6, he rolls 12, I roll 5, okay, so I'm down to 13, he rolls 12 again, I roll 11, so that's fine. He rolls 6, I roll 10, and he is dead. And I go to 267. I suppose I should eat a... I got 13, so I eat 1 ration, and I am up to 17. Hang on, I want to get 3 now, so I'm up to 16. I can eat 2 and get up to 19 again. And then I go to 267 and see what happens next. The path you have taken veers until it joins the other one. Morgana allows only one way to and from her stronghold. As you begin to climb the slopes of Krill Ganache itself, you feel certain that the way is defended. You're not wrong. An ice dragon thunders out of its cave and swoops down on you, blasting ice from its nostrils. If you have a cloak of temporary invisibility and want to use it, turn to 46. Otherwise, turn to 241. So, cloak invisibility or not. So, I don't. And that's quite a nice picture. 241. Not there. You face a truly formidable foe. Okay, if you say so, 1014. Okay. Now, this is where, if I played my cards right, I would have had at least 1 or possibly even 2 skill bonus and had 14 skill effectively, but I only got 12. 12, 19 is mine, and this guy has 10, 14. I got a 2 skill point advantage. So he rolls 4, I roll 3. 11, 6. I'm down to 17. 5. He's down to 10. 5. He's down to 8. 9. 4, I'm down to 15. 10, 3, I'm down to 13. 5 again, 4, he's down to 6. 9, 12, he's down to 4. 5, 9, he's down to 2. 4, 9, he is dead, and I've got 13 left. Got 3 rations left. I'm going to eat another 2, go up to 19 again. If you win, will you search its cave? Go to 204. Or push straight on for Krill Ganache. So we have 204, cave, 298. Krill. So I'm going to check out the cave, of course. When you reach the dragon's cave, you find that it does not extend very far. After all, what need does an ice dragon have for protection against cold? Well, maybe it doesn't have the cave to protect itself from the cold or from the elements. Maybe it's because it wants a nice cozy home. Why shouldn't it be big? At the back, it narrows into a slit. You go through the slit and find yourself on a ledge, which runs along the mountainside. The ledge is wide enough for you to pass safely along it until it ends at the mouth to a tunnel. Turn to 256. So this looks like maybe it's a back way. Might be advantageous, I do not know. This must be the entrance to Morgana's domain. Guttering torches line the walls. And I see that even though I just restarted my camera, my memory card is almost full, so I've only got 2 minutes now before I need to take a break. Guttering torches line the walls, which stretch away in a straight line into the gloom ahead. You summon up all your courage and step into the tunnel. The torches do little to dispel the freezing cold, and even though you can see your way, you cannot shake off a sense of blackness. For here Morgana rules, and her heart is cold and black. The tunnel ends with a choice of 3 doors, next to one another on the northern wall of a small cavern. Will you take the wooden door in the middle, the stone door, or the iron door? I like how they are made of different materials. Will also make it easier to remember probably which one to go for, or which ones are the wrong ones. 32 wood, 119 stone, or 290 iron. Right, I'm going to aim for one of them, but I'll get back to that after my break. Right, here we are back again after a little break to offload my memory card. And it just occurred to me that sometimes, of course, I can record about 1.5 hours now of footage on my camera before I need to offload the files. But offloading the files takes about 15 minutes, something like that. It's quite a long time, even with a relatively fast card. I was thinking I should buy a second card of the same capacity so I don't have to take breaks unless I want to. So I also, in my break now, I ordered another card. So now I will have 2 64GB memory cards to use for my overhead camera. There it is. I'm pointing the right place now. Right, let's see. Where were we? I'm about to choose a door. Very exciting stuff. So it's wood, stone, or iron. I'm going to go with stone. That was my first sort of the one I wanted to do. That is the wrong one. So is this just one of those where there's one correct and the other ones will kill you? I don't know. Let's choose again. 290. As soon as you touch the door, long spikes spring out of it and the door slams open towards you. Roll 1 die. 6. 1d6. 1 to 4, 65. 5 to 6, 3, 6, 6. So I go to 3, 6, 6, and you leap back in time to avoid the door. Will you go through it into a dark tunnel, turn to 131, or try the stone door or the wooden door? So I have the option of going to the other doors. I know not to go to the stone door, but I also have the option of going into a tunnel. So I might take that. 1, 3, 1. If your stamina score is 10 or less, what is my stamina score now? 13. And let's see, 13. And I had my rations, so I've got 19. I've got 1 provision left. If your stamina score is 10 or less, turn to 153. If it is 11 or more, turn to 354. So 11 plus and 1, 5, 3, 10 minus, and that's stamina. So 354. Let's see what happens. You are still able to think clearly, so you seize a torch from the wall bracket to light your way. As usual, there are torches everywhere, of course. Even if there is nobody there, there are torches. That would never happen, of course, in real life, as you know. That wouldn't make any sense. If you want a light that stays on for a long time, first of all, it's a precious commodity. You don't want light everywhere. You want to bring a lamp with you. If you do want a permanent light, you would want something that burns oil, for instance, not a torch. This is just as well because you soon see that the floor and walls are lined with jagged rocks. A litter of animal skeletons shows that they are poisoned. There is no way through here, so that means that this is just a dead end, literally. And the only possibility really is the wooden door. I think I've established that now, that everything else is the wrong way. Although now technically I do have a torch. It remains to be seen whether that is something that is forgotten about later. The door creaks open on rusty hinges. Hang on 2 seconds. Just checking if my phone is on the right setting. It is on silent, like so. The door creaks open on rusty hinges, but no immediate danger confronts you. You hear the click of rats' claws across the stone ground as you advance up the tunnel, but you ignore them. There is only one way for you now, forward, and everything else is a distraction. However, the tunnel forks like a serpent's tongue. Will you go left or right? Right, so let's see, left or right. Let's put them up over here, a little bit further to the side, closer to the middle. Left 19 or right 2 2 4, left right. I'm going left 19. If you have the Horn of Heather, turn to 335. Otherwise, turn to 72. So I do not have the horn. So 72 not, and 335 horn. So 72. A side passage opens up to your right. Will you take it or carry straight on? So we have two options. 369 side or 170 straight. I'm going to do the side passage. 369. The passage is not long and ends at a T-junction. You know that turning right would take you away from your goal, so you turn left, turn to 16. Okay. Not a logical way to navigate a maze, is it? When sometimes you have to go around to get somewhere. The shortest route is... Yeah. You come to a large cavern which is not lit by torches, but I've already got a torch, so see, it forgot about that again. Would you enter the cavern or turn back and take the side passage? What side passage? I'm already on the side passage. Yeah, another little foible there in the narrative. 59, I'm going to enter the cavern. Or go, let's see, 306. So 59. 11 vast shapes, oh, these are the golems, loom out of the darkness. One of them lights a torch, and then you can see that the 11 golems are surrounding you. There is no time. I had a torch. I would have seen that before I went in. So again, I'm being treated unfairly in this book, and that's probably the third time that this book is doing something that isn't following its own logic. No time to get anything from your pack. If you can call on Galrin, you will know where to turn. Galrin, that sounds like something I saw in the first time I played, maybe. Otherwise, your body is mangled and your adventure is over. Right. So, there is a secret option there to call on Galrin. Galrin. So, right. So I think maybe I should leave it there for the day. So, plenty to do next time. So I've sort of how to get past the fire. I obviously still have a few seemingly essential items I need to go. It seems that taking the route through the forest is the best path in the beginning. I'm not 100% sure, but it does seem like it. And I have a few other points where I know what to do. Um, and where of course I will be able to choose the right path. So very exciting puzzle of a book, this, even though the writing is sometimes a bit off and the narrative is a bit off and the flow is a bit off, and sometimes that leads to end paragraphs where you feel like you've been unfairly treated because the book has forgotten what happened just before, like picking up a torch in this case. And so yeah, but anyway, I'll keep going and I'll see you in my next episode where I will play more of this. I'll just do my transition now. Whoop. Like so. So yeah, so I'll keep playing this. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I thought this was quite enjoyable. Got lots of maps now for this one, so I must have been most of the book eventually in this, but I still haven't managed to find the end. But I will find it one of these days. Right. So I'll see you again in my next episode, and goodbye for now. Bye bye.